beyond time, beyond language, beyond space as we know it. There exists a living library, not made of books, but of energy, of truth, of you. This is the Akashic Records, living field of consciousness, holding the complete imprint of your soul's journey. It's not a myth, it's not a poetic metaphor. It is real and it remembers everything. Akasha, from the ancient Sanskrit, means ether, the unseen force that cradles all things. It is the subtle realm from which existence itself unfolds. Every thought you've ever had, every tear you've ever shed, every life you've ever lived, etched not in pages, but in frequency. Think of it as the soul's fingerprint, carved into the quantum field. A timeless archive humming with your story, your pain, your power, your becoming. This isn't spiritual fiction. This is spiritual memory, every déjà vu, every dream that felt like another life, every unexplainable knowing. These aren't accidents. They're echoes, reminders from the records that you are more than flesh and thought. Across cultures and ages, sages
Sound
and
familiar?
mystics, from Egyptian high
Let's
priests
explore
to
the
Himalayan
7 most
sages
telling
spoken of
signs
in
that you
sacred
are a
space.
light worker,
A
so
place
you
where
can
nothing
step
is
into
hidden,
your power
where
and
wounds are
purpose
understood,
on
not
your
judged,
mission
where
here
your
on
soul is
Earth.
seen for what it is, eternal, evolving and whole. And contrary to what modern myths tell us, this realm is not reserved for saints or spiritual elites. The Akashic Records aren't locked in temples. They aren't light years away. They are already within you. In the breath beneath your breath, the stillness between your thoughts, the sacred silence you've always felt but never named. To access them is not to escape this world, but to remember yourself beyond it. Because when you enter this field with reverence and readiness, you don't just find answers, you awaken the memory of who you've always been. Akasha, not just a word in an ancient tongue, but the pulse beneath all form. While Sanskrit named it ether, sages knew it as the space where divinity whispered itself into existence before light, before sound, before name. In the ancient world, truth wasn't read, it was experienced. Akasha was not a belief, but a presence one felt, breathed, and lived. It was the sacred expanse, the space where the divine and the human intertwined. This wasn't the fifth element, it was the first womb. The canvas of creation before the brush of form. Long before scrolls and sermons, the ancients did not read records. They heard them, felt them, breathed them. Truth pulsed in the bones of the earth, in the flame, in the river, in the silence between stars. Hindu mystics spoke of Akasha as the breath of Brahmanthi pulse of God before the world took shape. In Egypt, Thoth etched the memory of souls into tablets of frequency, not stone. And in Tibetan Dzogchen, the great void wasn't emptiness, but the source code of all that was, is, and will be. Across oceans and centuries, Plato glimpsed it too. In his world of forms, he glimpsed a realm more real than the shadows on the cave wall, a reality behind reality. Christianity whispered of the Book of Life, not as dogma, but as a divine memory where every act, every breath is lovingly recorded. These weren't borrowed myths, they were parallel revelations, converging evidence from civilizations that never met, yet remembered the same sky. Because Akasha was never a location, it was a frequency, a resonance in the soul's tuning fork, a language that required no tongue to speak and no temple to access. You don't need to climb a mountain or chant ancient syllables to find it. It is in the moment before a tear falls, in the chill that rushes through you when truth brushes close, in the flicker of recognition when your heart knows what your mind cannot explain. Our Akasha isn't behind us in time, nor ahead in evolution. It's right here, beneath your questions, behind your breath. It's the soft rhythm that has always called you back to yourself. You feel it, don't you? That strange homesickness for something you've never seen, yet deeply remember. That is Akasha stirring, not to teach you something new, but to help you remember what was never lost. Because your soul doesn't need to be taught this truth. It was born from it. And in every sacred pause, in every moment, you truly listen, not with ears, but with your being. You'll hear it again. The homecoming, Akasha. For centuries, the Akashic records were whispered in temples, meditated upon in caves, and accessed by sages beyond the illusion of time. But now, science is catching up. The veil between physics and metaphysics is thinning. Two names echo in this space: Nikola Tesla and Ervin László. One a mystic in disguise, the other a scientist unafraid to speak like a mystic. Both discovered in their own language the same eternal truth, the Akashic Records, Tesla's lost ether, and the music of the cosmos. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, Tesla once said, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. To most, it sounded poetic. To Tesla, it was literal. He saw the universe as a great symphony, not of objects, but of oscillations. He believed in the ether, an invisible medium that filled all space, carrying energy waves like an unseen ocean connecting all things. The ether wasn't a fantasy. It was real. More real than the solid walls we lean on, because it held the information between the matter, the pulse behind the particle, the field of memory beneath all motion. Doesn't that sound familiar? That's the essence of the Akashic Records, not a magical scroll in some cosmic attic, but an energetic blueprint etched in the ether Tesla spoke of. A place where every thought, every event, every soul's journey is inscribed in frequency and vibration. To Tesla, the ether was the connective tissue of the universe. To mystics, it is Akasha, the sacred canvas, where existence is painted in light. László's quantum field and the code of reality. Enter Ervin László. Philosopher, systems theorist, quantum mind. In his groundbreaking work, he proposed the Akashic Field theory, a field beneath the physical, storing all information in the cosmos, not metaphorically, literally. According to László, a field is the informational backbone of the universe. It transcends space, it outlives time, it records everything, thoughts, actions, histories, dreams, not in judgment, but in resonance. In László's vision, the universe isn't built of matter. It is informed into being. Reality emerges from this silent sea of encoded intelligence, just as the ancients said. The Akashic Records were never religious dogma. They were always a technology of consciousness, a mystical interface between soul and source. And László's theory is the scientific map of that interface, not a physical place. The vibrational nature of the Akashic Records, you won't find them in temples or vaults or libraries carved from stone. There are no doors to knock on, no maps to follow. Because the Akashic Records are not contained there, they are here, now, everywhere, yet nowhere physical. This is the fundamental truth that many overlook. The records are not bound by time, space, or matter. They are vibrational in nature. They exist in the unseen, the unmeasurable, the subtle field of spirit frequency, a realm that lies beyond the reach of logic's understanding. The very fabric of the Akashic Records exists in a state beyond the material world's limitations, vibrating in a continuous flow of pure energy. The frequency of knowing, accessing the records, is not about entering a physical space. It's about attuning oneself. It's like turning a dial through static, searching for that hidden station that resonates with clarity. But this station is not heard by the ears. It's felt deeply within, it's known, it's remembered, not as knowledge, but as an ancient understanding that was always there. The records vibrate at frequencies beyond the material spectrum. You don't need your eyes, you need inner stillness. This is why seekers turn to deep meditation, breathwork, heart coherence, theta or delta brainwave states. Because in these altered states, the ego dissolves, the mind quiets, and something deeper within you stirs awake. Not sight, not sound, but resonance. The Akashic Records don't speak in words. They arrive as images, emotions, symbols, an innate knowing that transcends verbal expression. You don't decode them. You absorb them, allowing the essence of what they convey to integrate with your being. The inner temple, not a map location. Where are the records kept? A fair question, but rooted in the illusion that truth needs coordinates. The records are not in a place, they're in a state, just as a dream doesn't live inside your pillow. The records don't live in space, they live in you. Access is not granted through ritual. It is earned through resonance. This is why ancient wisdom teaches, purify intent, ground the body, quiet the mind, expand the heart. No crystal or chant can substitute attunement. It's not about control, it's about stillness. You wound, don't go to the Akashic Records. You become the frequency that receives them. The holographic principle, where science meets spirit. Though non-physical, the records are not fantasy. Quantum physics now echoes what mystics knew. We live in a holographic universe, where every point contains the whole. Where information is encoded in the quantum field, Ervin László called it the Akashic Field, a memory layer of the cosmos, a silent intelligence behind all form. Science speaks of wave functions and quantum coherence. Mystics speak of Akasha and sacred memory, but they point to the same truth. The records are not distant, they are embedded in reality. You are not separate from them, you are them. Every cell in your body, every note of your soul, already lives in that archive. Access is not about travel. It's about alignment. A living field, not a static archive. The records are not dusty shelves. They are alive, dynamic, evolving with you. What they reveal shifts with your consciousness, not because truth changes, but because you do. They don't hand you answers. They reflect your inner landscape. They speak the language your soul is ready to hear. They don't shout, they whisper. They don't give you power, they remind you of it. The Akashic Records are not a destination. They are your vibrational mirror. The power of non-physical truth. We are told, if you can't touch it, it's not real. But the Akashic Records dissolve that illusion. They remind us, the deepest truths are unseen. The most eternal. Realities cannot be held. You won't find the records on a shelf. You'll find them in basas, the stillness between thoughts, the breath before prayer, the sacred space where soul meets source, and when you enter that silence, you won't learn something new. You'll remember what was never forgotten. Alignment, the bridge between worlds. You don't force your way into the Akashic Records. You attune, not with effort, but with surrender. Through breath, prayer, stillness, and presence, you silence the mind, soften the ego, and let the soul rise. It's not magic, it's memory, a remembrance of your original frequency. The more you live in truth, honest, open, aligned, the louder the records speak, not through sound, but through resonance, not from afar, but from within. Reading for others. A sacred trust. Can you read for others? Yes, but not as a right, as a responsibility, only with their consent. Not just ethically, but spiritually. You're not decoding someone's story. You're entering sacred ground. Akashic readers are guardians, not observers. They're trained to ask permission. Empty ego, align with reverence. Serve, not seek control. You don't peek into a soul, you bow before it. And if your motive is tainted, the records stay silent. These aren't just energetic files, they are living frequencies, with boundaries, with intelligence, with guardianship. You are the reader you've been waiting for. Some are born sensitive. Others unfold their gifts with time. Both are valid. But no matter where you start, you don't need a guru. You don't need permission. You need devotion. You need courage. You need to show up, because the records whisper in dreams that linger, tears that cleanse, signs that defy logic, sudden truths that crack you open. Not fantasy, not superstition, frequency. The Akashic Records are not outside of you. They are etched into your soul, encoded in your very being, awaiting your return. What you can discover, echoes of eternity. There is no fixed map here, only mirrors, only memory. The Akashic Records are not cold archives. They are a living consciousness, alive with your essence, holding your soul's blueprint, your choices, your contracts, your eternal self. This isn't about answers, it's about homecoming. Past lives and patterns, your soul is ancient, even if your current name is young. Inside the records, past lives ripple into the present, longing for lands you've never seen. Faces you miss but never met, fears with no origin but deep roots. These are not illusions, they are frequencies. The records reveal karmic threads, unhealed wounds, repeated stories, and lessons begging to be integrated. Because clarity, is liberation, and the past can only lose its power when it's finally understood. Soul contracts and sacred agreements. You didn't just choose this life, you designed it. In sacred space before birth, your soul agreed to this path, the pain, the people, the purpose. Inside the records, these agreements are illuminated. The parent who hurt you, so you'd awaken. The lover who left, so you'd reclaim your worth. The hardship that broke you, so truth could pour in. It's not about removing the weight. It's about changing how you carry it. The question is no longer, why did this happen? It becomes, what did I come here to learn? Healing. Ancestral and energetic wounds. Your pain isn't just your own. It echoes from bloodlines. You carry the unspoken grief of ancestors, but also their strength. Within the records, inherited imprints come to light. Abandonment, scarcity, shame, patterns that live in your energy, but never truly belonged to you. When seen through spiritual eyes, they can finally be released. You are not the end of a broken line. You are the beginning of a healed one. Future potentials, not predictions. The records don't deal in guarantees. They speak in possibility, not what will be, but what could be if you walk your soul's highest path. They show what unfolds if you choose courage, what collapses if you cling to fear, what doors open when you align with love. This is not prophecy, this is potential. The future is not a script, it is a sculpture, shaped by your present vibration. The records are not fortune tellers. They are architects of choice, your true self unmasked. Perhaps the greatest gift of the records is not what they show, but what they reveal. You, not the you shaped by culture or trauma, but the you that predates every mask, every role, every fear. In the Akashic Field, the masks fall. The noise fades. The original essence remains. You don't discover something new. You remember something ancient. Because the records don't tell you who to become. They remind you of who you've always been. Integration, from insight to embodiment. Revelation is the doorway, but embodiment is the walk. After the records speak, life begins to test you. Can you live what you saw? Can you forgive what you understand now? Can you walk with grace among those still asleep? Can you own your gifts without shrinking? The Akashic Records won't hand you power. They mirror it back and ask if you're ready to hold it. Wisdom isn't meant to stay in the clouds. It's meant to walk barefoot, to weep and to rise, to live. You are the revelation when the records open. It's not the field that awakens, it's you. You become the library, the oracle, the witness, the remembrance. Not because you learned more, but because you finally remembered deeper. And what you reclaim isn't a secret, isn't a shortcut. It's your soul's sacred truth, whispering, you were never lost. You were always home. How it feels. When the Akashic Records whisper back, there are no trumpets, no grand reveal, no heavenly chorus descending from above. When the Akashic Records speak, they do so in the language of remembrance. It isn't loud, it isn't theatrical, it doesn't scream for your attention. It simply arrives in the quietest moment, in the stillness between thoughts, and suddenly, you just know it's not what you hear, it's what you recognize. A truth so ancient it bypasses logic, a knowing that lands in your chest before your mind can catch up. The subtle power of a whisper. We expect divine encounters to roar like thunder. But the records? They arrive like breath on your skin. They speak gently, like a thread pulling you inward. A memory long buried floats up, as if someone whispered it into your heart. Her vision flickers behind your closed eyes, unfamiliar yet intimately yours. An emotion swells within you, joy, grief, awe, arriving unannounced, yet perfectly timed. A question you never voiced is answered before you even name it. There are no theatrics here, no spiritual fireworks, just presence, just depth, just a sense of being seen by something older than time. Sometimes you don't see anything, sometimes you don't hear a single word, but you always feel something. It might feel like a warmth in the chest, a wave of calm washing over you, a peace so complete it silences every inner critic, or suddenly, a message lands. not taught, not spoken, just known, as if you never forgot it in the first place. Downloads. The sudden flood. Some call. I had a download, but it's not data, it's meaning. It crashes in like a wave and leaves you breathless. You understand your pain, where it came from, and why it's no longer needed. You see the purpose behind heartbreak, the design behind detours. You realized it never was random, none of it. And strangely, it doesn't hurt anymore. Because once meaning arrives, the suffering begins to dissolve. These moments don't wait for ceremony. They come when your heart softens. They come when your guard drops. They come while walking in silence, while meditating, even while rinsing dishes 3 days after asking, because the records don't answer when you call. They answer when you're ready to listen. Visions from beyond time. For some, the Akashic Field opens as vivid scenes, other lifetimes, soul contracts, karmic threads. You might glimpse a version of you from another time, another body, a soul, agreement made before this incarnation, a recurring pattern that finally reveals its source. The records may not always explain it in words, but your soul feels it. And in that moment, it's not about what you understand, it's about what recognizes you, because this isn't just about seeing, it's about being seen. No judgment zone, where the soul is seen, not judged, in the Akashic. Records, there is no courtroom, no finger-pointing, no eternal shame. Here, the soul stands not to be condemned, but to be understood. What you see are not sins, but stories, not failures, but footsteps. Each decision is reflected with compassion, not criticism. Truth without judgment. The records hold truths untouched by human bias. They don't label your past as good or bad. They show it. They reflect your journey as it is, sacred, messy, miraculous. Every mistake is a lesson. Every regret is a map. Every wound becomes a portal to growth. Here you are not blamed. You are witnessed. Karma, not punishment. Karma isn't a cosmic sentence. It's a teacher. It shows you where your soul made choices and how those choices ripple outward. The past isn't shown to shame you. It's shown to free you. Free will and empowerment. The records don't dictate your future. They reveal possibilities, not prisons. You are not trapped by fate. You are a co-creator of your timeline. The records say, here are the roads ahead. Choose with awareness. The future is fluid, malleable. Like water, it responds to your thoughts, your healing, your awakening. Healing through self-reflection. When the records reflect your past, it's not to hurt you. It's to show you why the pain came, what it taught you, and how it shaped your becoming. You begin to understand your patterns, your blind spots, your gifts, and in that awareness, you reclaim your power, a space of radical compassion, theirs. No shame here, no perfection required. Your shadows are not denied, they are held in love. Your imperfections are not sins, they are seeds. The records don't punish. They remind, they whisper, you are still worthy, even now, especially now. The dance of timelines. Time in the Akashic Field isn't linear, it's liquid. The past, present, and future exist like waves, overlapping. One choice can alter everything. One insight can shift your entire trajectory. One breath of awareness can rewrite your path. In this sacred space, you don't chase destiny. You dance with it, the power of now. Every step you take now creates tomorrow. You're not walking a path laid out for you. You're weaving it as you go. The Akashic Records do not chain you to fate. They awaken you to freedom, to the miracle of choice, to the divine gift of co-creation. You are not a mistake. You are not broken. You are becoming soul contracts and life lessons. The records unveil agreements made before birth. In the depths of the Akashic Records, a luminous blueprint of our soul's journey is kept, not hidden, but remembered in the silence before incarnation. It is here that sacred agreements are formed. Contracts not forced upon us but chosen, by the soul, by the self beyond ego, by the divine spark we carry into this life. These are the soul contracts. They whisper through the fabric of our everyday, a difficult relationship, a recurring loss, a strange pull towards someone we've just met. Each is not coincidence but intention. Each is an invitation to evolve, to awaken to the deeper story beneath the noise. Before the soul is born into form, it weaves its contracts like threads in a divine loom. It chooses lessons, not to suffer, but to remember. It does not choose easy paths but meaningful ones, paths that stretch us beyond our comfort, paths that ask for our surrender, our strength, our faith. These contracts are not solitary. We do not evolve alone. Every soul we meet, family, lovers, rivals, friends, is a collaborator in our sacred unfolding. Even those who cause us pain, especially them, play a role agreed upon in the light before we stepped into shadow. A mother who abandoned, a partner who betrayed, a friend who vanished. They may have loved us deeply before this life began. They may have said, "I'll be the one to break your heart, so you learn how to love yourself." And we said, "Yes, I'll remember, eventually." To the eyes that only see the surface, life seems cruel, but in the Akashic Records, patterns rise like constellations. The heartbreak that repeats, a call to reclaim worth, the constant rejection, a mirror of inner abandonment. Nothing is random. Everything is calling us home. Some relationships are karmic, tangled in echoes from lives before. They carry weight. Yes, but also medicine. A soul that once betrayed may now seek to restore. A soul once silenced may now be called to speak. The Akashic Records do not judge. They reflect. They reveal the soul's lessons, not as punishment but as pathways. Each choice we make is a brushstroke on the canvas of our evolution. Each wound is an opening, each scar a symbol of growth. And when we finally rise from the patterns, from the pain, from the forgetting, the records smile. Not as distant scrolls, but as mirrors of truth. We are not bound by fate. We are guided by love. How accessing soul contracts and life lessons can heal. In the records lies the key to healing, for the wounds of the past are carried in the soul's journey, hidden beneath the surface of life's challenges. By understanding the contracts we've made, the lessons we've agreed to learn, we can release the old wounds, let go of what no longer serves us, and step into the light of awareness. Healing comes when we embrace the lessons, not with resistance but with love and open arms. Healing through awareness, rewriting the soul's journey. What if your pain wasn't punishment but a coded message from your soul? To see that your struggles are not random, not curses, not chaos, but sacred echoes from lifetimes past, is to step out of victimhood and into the luminous realm of awareness. In the Akashic Records, pain is not shameful. It is purposeful. It is a guide. And when we view our suffering through the lens of the soul, we stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin to ask, "What is this teaching me?" With awareness comes liberation, freedom to heal, freedom to grow, freedom to rewrite the story we thought we had to live. For in the records, the soul doesn't just remember, it reclaims. It revisits the old scripts, the chapters written in fear, the beliefs born in trauma, and it begins a new narrative, one of empowerment, one of sacred choice, one of becoming. Rewriting the narrative. There is no destiny set in stone. The soul may draft the outline, but you hold the pen. In the quiet of the records you remember, you are not the wound, you are the healer. You are not the pattern, you are the pattern breaker. Old contracts can be released, new intentions can be written. And the soul, once bound by outdated beliefs, can now soar into new realms of possibility. The dance of free will and destiny. Yes, the soul writes a path before birth, but it does not write a prison. Free will is the soul's greatest gift. At every crossroads we choose, we can resist the path or we can align with it. And alignment does not mean perfection, it means presence. It means saying yes to the lessons instead of hiding from them. When we say yes to the soul's journey, we activate our power. We become co-creators with the divine, choice and alignment. The records offer a map. But a map is only useful if we choose to walk. Each choice becomes a compass, each decision a turning point. And when our choices reflect our soul's truth, life begins to flow with purpose, with clarity, with grace. Resisting the path creates dissonance, but embracing it That's when magic happens, that's when healing begins. That's when the past no longer controls the future. Empowerment through understanding. To look within the records is to remember you are not broken, you are becoming, you are not lost, you are learning. Each challenge is a sacred teacher. Each moment, a page in the book of your evolution. And when you understand your soul's lessons, you reclaim your power to choose love over fear, wisdom over reaction, consciousness over chaos. Through the records, you see yourself as you were always meant to be, a soul on a journey of remembrance, guided not by fear, but by divine purpose. Myths dispelled. Understanding the realities of the Akashic Records, they say time heals all wounds. But what if the wound isn't in time? It's in the soul. There is a place, older than language, deeper than memory, where every lifetime, every heartbreak, every soul contract is written in light. This place is real. It's not myth, it's not metaphor. It's the Akashic Records, the soul's eternal blueprint. And when you access it, something ancient inside. You remember that the pain you carry isn't punishment, it's a message, a pattern, a karmic imprint echoing from lifetimes long forgotten, a lesson still waiting to be seen. We don't suffer by accident. We repeat what hasn't been healed, cycles of abandonment, betrayal, loss, not random, not fate, but reflections of a deeper script, one your soul wrote before your body was born. When you enter the records, you're not reading a story. You're remembering who you truly are. That recurring heartbreak. It began in a vow made 6 lifetimes ago, that fear of being seen. It's the echo of a betrayal in ancient Egypt or a silencing in Salem. And when you see it, when you finally see it, something cracks, light enters the wound, and the pattern begins to dissolve because you can't heal what you don't understand. But once you do, the karma unravels, the energy lifts, the soul exhales. Forgiveness is no longer just a choice. It becomes a frequency, a remembrance, a return. You begin to realize you're not broken, you're breaking through. In the Akashic space, your deepest pain becomes sacred data. Every heartbreak, a breadcrumb, every mistake, a mirror, every loss, a portal home. This is not spiritual fluff. This is sacred architecture, and the more you access it, the more you decode the soul contracts, the karmic threads, the energetic debris, the more weight you drop, because you were never meant to carry all this. You were meant to transcend. The Akashic Records don't change your past, they transmute it. And in that transmutation, you don't just heal. You remember who you were before the world made you forget. So the question isn't whether the records are real. The question is, are you ready to remember the version of you that never needed healing in the first place? But healing isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the softest whisper that breaks the deepest chain. In the stillness of the Akashic Records, you don't just read your history, you feel it. The grief you thought was yours alone. It began long before you arrived in this body. The fear you carry in your chest, it's the echo of lifetimes where your voice cost you everything. And that aching emptiness you've never been able to name, it's a forgotten vow, a soul's promise left unresolved. Yet within the records you begin to remember the truth, that nothing you've ever felt was meaningless. Every emotional weight was a teacher, every recurring pain a sacred invitation to look deeper. And once seen, the energy begins to shift. You find yourself weeping, not from sorrow, but from recognition. Because finally, you understand. You see the why behind the suffering. You see the thread that ties it all together. And suddenly you no longer feel lost. The burden lifts, not all at once, but piece by piece, like old skin being shed, like iron melting into light. Forgiveness flows, not as obligation, but as liberation. You stop carrying stories that don't belong to you. You stop punishing yourself for things you were never meant to hold. And then something wild happens. You begin to reclaim yourself. The blocked emotions, the sabotaging beliefs, the shame passed down through generations, they begin to dissolve. Not because you fought them, but because you understood them. That's what the records do. They don't just point to your pain. They show you how it started. They show you where you made the agreement. and then they offer you the key to rewrite it, not with force, but with awareness, with compassion, with sovereignty. You no longer live as a reaction. You begin to live as a creator, a conscious participant in your own evolution. The lies we inherit, I'm not enough, I don't deserve love, my voice doesn't matter, are revealed for what they are, illusions. And in their place, a new voice rises. One that says, I am whole, I am worthy, I am powerful beyond measure. This is the medicine of the Akashic Records, not fantasy, not wishful thinking, but truth, sacred, disruptive, liberating truth. And truth, when finally seen, will always set the soul free. So if you've been feeling stuck, trapped in emotions that make no sense, haunted by patterns that won't leave, wounded in ways no one can see, this is your sign. You are not broken. You are remembering. And the records, they're not just waiting for you. They've been calling your name all along. And so you walk away from the records, not with answers carved in stone, but with a heart softened by remembrance and eyes that finally see through time. What once felt like chaos now reveals itself as choreography, pain with a purpose, wounds with a lineage, and suffering with a sacred shape. You are no longer just a product of your past. You are the breaker of spells, the end to a cycle generations long. The ache that lived in your mother's silence, the guilt your father swallowed like fire, it ends with you because you chose to look, you chose to feel, you chose to remember, and in doing so, you unlocked the truth that no one ever told you. You are not damaged. You are divine. You are not lost. You are layered, layer upon layer of wisdom, wrapped in memory, cracked open by love. The records didn't fix you. They simply showed you what was always there, that beneath every broken story is a soul that has never forgotten who it is. So let the old beliefs fall away. Let the inherited pain turn to ash. Let the lies burn in the light of your knowing, and from the quiet embers, let something new rise. Not the person you were told to be, but the truth of who you've always been. The healer, the alchemist, the sacred rebel rewriting fate. And as you return to the world, you'll carry this knowing like flame in your chest, that you are the living prayer your ancestors whispered, the reckoning they hoped would come. You are not just healing, you are becoming. Not just remembering, you are reclaiming. And this is only the beginning.